It's no longer news that the West does not want Africans on their land, and they have taken measures to ensure that Africans seeking greener pastures remain in their countries. One of the measures Western countries have taken is through visa applications. In December 2022, a Kenyan performer and DJ known as Coco EM could not make it to the Terra Sagrada festival in Cape Verde, which she had been looking forward to for a year. She couldn't even make it out of her country because, at the check-in counter in Kenya, she was told she could not board her flight unless she bought a return ticket with the same airline to prove she would return home after the festival. Meanwhile, she already had a return ticket with another airline. This incident is just one of the thousands of stories that portray how Africans are faced with unfair travel restrictions to the US and Europe. In early 2023, Nigerian Afro-pop star Yemi Alade requested a Schengen visa, but her request went unanswered. She was also denied a Canadian visa for the International Africa Nights Festival. According to the co-founder of the festival, Suzanne Rousseau, the singer was denied due to financial reasons and fears that she would not want to leave Canada. And this is someone who has several world tours under her belt and is a celebrity. This means it doesn't matter whether you are a high-profile individual attending an event of international standards. It's all about your passport, or more specifically, your African passport. And the reason why traveling to or transiting through Europe and the US has been and is still difficult for Africans is because most European countries consider Africans a risk. So, to mitigate that risk, they impose certain restrictions and require that Africans meet certain requirements before they even get onto their first flight. For instance, the Schengen countries that make up the EU's passport-free zone have agreed on a common short-stay visa regime that allows third-country nationals, Africans, to travel to any member of the Schengen area for up to 90 days for tourism or business purposes. However, research has shown that the success rate of a Schengen visa application depends on the GDP per capita of the country where the application is lodged, meaning that the poorer the country, the higher the rejection rate. In fact, the top 3 countries with the highest Schengen visa rejection rates are from the continent of Africa. Guinea-Bissau had 53% of its applications rejected, Senegal 52%, and Nigeria 51%. To get a Schengen visa, you would need a host of documents, including bank statements, return flights, addresses while abroad, and travel insurance policies. The threshold gets higher and changes so dramatically. Sadly, African countries are in the bottom half of the global passport ranking, and with few exceptions, people from African countries need to obtain visas for more than 100 countries. However, this is not the case when a European or an American travels to Africa. Most of them do not need to get a visa before coming because they can get a visa on arrival at a low cost because of how strong their passport is. They don't have to show bank statements or prove they are employed. They don't need proof of a return ticket. The process is seamless and easy. Why can't it be the same for Africans? Why are Africans considered a risk? One of the recurring reasons why Africans face difficulty in obtaining visas to Europe and the USA is that Europe does not want Africans to stay in their country. One Nigerian writer, Elnathan John, captures this fact in a recent series of tweets. He says, "A good African traveler is one who returns, one who leaves Europe or America quickly. The embassies love them. Good African don't move." He also added, "It has become like a criminal act for an African to openly admit planning to move to another country. We are made to swear we won't stay. When a European or American wants to move to Africa, they don't apologize. They say it with pride. Why is this the case?" Africans with African passports are always met with a particular stereotype, one of suspicion and fear, as if Africans have a contagious disease that would spread all over Europe if they step foot in the country. They are subjected to several unnecessary and humiliating situations, all in a bid to get a visa at a high cost. And still, getting a visa is not even a guarantee that they would get into the country. They would still have to deal with immigration officers who would look at them suspiciously and ask them questions as if they were criminals. However, this is not even the worst of it. We understand that Western countries such as the United States are sovereign countries that have every right to accept immigrants or refuse to accept them, right? After all, it's their country and their resources that they would have to share with outsiders who come to visit or stay. However, the problem is how these Western countries take advantage of Africans applying for visas. These Western embassies literally extort Africans applying for visas. And how do they do that? We will show you. On February 19th of this year, an Instagram page called Pan-African Lifestyle posted a video of a Namibian woman who stood in front of the U.S. Embassy in Namibia and called out the U.S. Embassy for allegedly extorting locals by having them pay the application fees only to deny them without reasonable cause. She noted that Africa had a U.S. Embassy to assist those with their visas, but denied many without reason. She then asked why the embassy officials had applicants come to the counter to pay the 3,600 Namibian dollar NAD fee, which is about $200 for the visa, only to get denied at the next counter.
But if you already see on your system that a person doesn't qualify for the visa, then why take them to the counter where they pay 3,600 for the visa and go to the next counter and be denied the visa? Then first interview them. If they don't qualify, don't make a person like this.
According to her, it would have been better if they interviewed the applicant before denying the visa. Another lady standing beside her added that embassy officials failed to ask her any questions but denied her. Their statement was confirmed by the man who filmed them, Amushalelo Michael, who said that indeed they were not interviewed before they were denied. She paid $3,600 just to be denied at the next counter. This is the second time, the first woman stated. Guys, this is supposed to be our friends in America. They built a big building in our country because we are friends. They're friends with Namibians. At least that's what we think. So can you see how Africans have been extorted? If the embassy knew that they were not going to give these people the visas, why still collect their money, which is non-refundable? People will stand for hours, from morning till evening, waiting to get inside the embassy and hoping to get a visa. But then after paying their hard-earned money, they get denied for flimsy reasons. In Nigeria, we have even heard of some people who sell their properties and use the proceeds from the sale to apply for visas. Unfortunately, they end up not getting the visa, their money is non-refundable, and they have to start from the beginning again. Isn't that wickedness? If you are sure that you won't give these people the visas, then don't collect the money. Do these Western embassies care at all? Of course not. It's simply business. And guess what? The U.S. ambassador to Kenya, Meg Whitman, admitted to this fact during an interview with a Kenya journalist who asked why it is easier for Americans to visit Kenya, but it's very difficult for Kenyans to visit the U.S. The journalist also asked why spousal visas usually take years, especially when one of the spouses is from Kenya. The reply, given by the ambassador, though diplomatic, revealed how the U.S. politicians viewed the whole thing. She said that the visa department is funded by visa fees and went on to talk about a bunch of other stuff. But the point is that the U.S. visa department is funded by visa fees, meaning that they need those fees if they are going to continue running the visa department. These guys already know how many people they would give visas to, but will collect from everyone who comes to apply because they need the money. So, it's just business for them. But for Africans who sell their properties to get this visa only to be denied, it's not business. It's extortion and pure wickedness, and should even be called a human rights abuse. It's so painful that Africans have to be subjected to this, and it doesn't seem like anything can be done about it. However, the fact is that Africans would not need to travel to Western countries seeking for greener pastures if their countries were developed as conducive for economic growth. So, we can say that the root cause of this problem is the greedy African leaders who refuse to do what is necessary to make their countries better and conducive for their citizens. Africa needs and deserves better leaders, so they will no longer be treated like shit by the West. What are your thoughts? Let us know in the comments section below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video.